Hello, YouTube. How are we doing? Did anyone else just wake up at 3 in the morning to bring you guys a live stream? Is that what Fancy Fiction's doing? Everyone's going live at the same time? And we've got no one in chat. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Some of you can stay here if you want. But if you really want to have your minds expanded, you should go and join Fancy Fiction's stream. She's read everything. Yeah. Oh, look, we've got 0 people in chat, Soap. 0 people in chat. Can you imagine, Soap? You would think that they'd at least come to see you, Soap. Yeah, we haven't even managed to put the stream on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. None of it's working. None of it's working at all. Not today. Just can't be bothered. It was enough effort just to get a quick screen capture, put a fucking title, and create this environment for us all to sit and watch a little bit of Luis Rivera. But apparently on the other channels, there's all sorts of things going on. Adelson trivia, Adelson trivia. Has it really come down to that? I mean, I know that there's a big market out there for the Adelsons, but frankly, I pride myself on doing my best not to get sucked into all that bullshit. It seems like everybody's coming out with a fucking bizarre theory at the moment, like, ooh, what if? God, do I want to mention any of these by actual description? That might give a clue who I have a problem with. Yeah, just bizarre theories. Anyone coming out with any bizarre theories? Why? The tangible theories are interesting enough. We don't need to cloud the environment with crazy shit, okay? Don't need to do that. Anyway, fuck it. We're here. We're going to be looking at Luis Rivera's cross-examination by Sam Zanganeh, Mr. Hand Grenade from 2019. And why does that matter? Well, it doesn't, really. But, this was Mr. Hand Grenade's big moment. He had to, Luis Rivera is up on the stand saying it was Sigfredo, the guy that's on trial right now. Obviously, key witness, right? An eyewitness to the murder who admitted his part. And bless him, Mr. Hand Grenade is up there trying to poke holes in Lewis's testimony, trying to tear down Lewis's testimony, right? Can't be done. Because why? Because Luis Rivera is solid, man. Solid as a rock. Anyway, share this puppy. Welcome, everybody in the chat.
You may proceed, Ms. Kaplan.
Rivera, when we broke, I was asking you whether you recalled having a meeting where you listened to some phone calls, recorded phone calls from this case to identify the voices. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
An approach with what I marked as states 179. Do you recognize this sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this your initial here?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and what about these check marks? What do these check marks indicate?
The voices.
All right, so on each of these letter phone calls, were you able to authenticate the voices that are highlighted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for example, on call D, you were asked to listen to see if that's...
Move this into evidence, yes, and she's
Overruled. Overruled.
So, for example, on call D...
Man, I get so bored of listening to Tara Kawas object. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. Caught a video of her in court with OnlyFans girl Courtney the other day, smiling, laughing, in front of the family of the murder victim. It was kind of sick. I didn't really watch too much of it, but there she was, Tara Kawas.
You were asked to identify the voice of, there's two voices on there, and you were asked to identify the one that's highlighted, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And does the check mark indicate that you were able to identify the
Yes,
the
ma'am.
highlighted voice? Okay. And on these calls, such as call K, there are two names highlighted there, Katie and Garcia. Does the check mark indicate you were able?
Hey, Aaron, I've had a lot worse guys than Luis Rivera stay at my house. Believe me, you know, he's a teddy bear. Yeah, I'd let him stay at my house, and you know what? I'd expect everything to be there when I got up in the morning. No problem.
Able to authenticate both of those voices?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and the ones that have check marks by Katie, is that referencing Catherine Magbanua?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was her voice on the call?
Yes, ma'am.
And the ones that have Garcia, that's referencing Sigfredo Garcia's voice?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and all the check marks indicate that you have authenticated those voices on those particular calls?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, at this time, I'd ask to introduce States 179.
Is there objection?
Yes, Your Honor. First, I've never been shown what Ms. Capone is referring to, and I think you want to go sidebar or lay my other objections. Improper foundation.
Look, we got a sidebar.
Yeah, if I let Sigfredo Garcia stay at my house, I'd expect to have half a coffee table left the next day after he'd worn the whole thing through by chopping up lines the whole night long. You know, I mean, just just wearing it down. Sound is on max, guys. Hope it's good enough. Would I let Wendy stay at my house? Fuck no. My God, I wouldn't let her anywhere near my front door. You know, I don't have a gun. But in that moment, I would wish I did. Oh, we got a real big problem with the sound, guys. Let's skip to some talking and see how we get along here.
Sustained.
Do you have any recollection of
How's that? We're on max.
any conversation, overhearing any conversation in which Ms. Magbanua was concerned about you and Mr. Garcia doing something stupid or messing it up?
Can't remember.
Do you remember any conversation that you were privy to where Mr. Garcia was telling Ms. Magbanua to make sure those people have the money?
Yeah,
When was that?
that was Friday after the murder happened.
Okay. Were there other conversations that happened on the first trip where the money was discussed?
No,
You don't remember Mr. Garcia telling Ms. Magbanua that they better have the money?
no, I don't remember.
What do you think Judge Everett's drink is, the two? Something fancy, I'll bet. Like a Singapore sling, you know? A cocktail. No, I bet it's a Tom Collins. A Tom Collins.
Slide forward a little bit more. I think you've got it.
way in the mic.
Do you remember any conversation where Ms. Magbanua was indicating to Mr. Garcia where you could hear her saying, make sure you get everything done right. When you are done, call me?
Yes.
When was that?
That was the second trip. We was finna murder the guy.
And were you a member of this conspiracy to accomplish the murder of Mr. Markel?
Not at all.
You didn't have anything to do with it?
I mean, and yeah, he told me about it to go, but if you're saying if I got hired, no.
Well, you got paid, didn't you?
Yeah, from Garcia.
All right, so Garcia hired you to do a murder, didn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
And who hired him?
The Addison family,
I'm sorry?
the Wendy family.
Wendy's family hired him?
Yeah.
Okay, and how was Wendy's family connected to Sigfredo Garcia?
Yeah, right, John Duncan. They just melt down a full jumbo bag of Skittles into a into a champagne flute. You know, it's a rainbow in a glass.
Cause Katie was dating the dentist.
Okay, did Katie know about the murder?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Katie have a role in hiring Sigfredo Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know that?
Cause he told me.
And Katie got paid?
Yes, ma'am.
Sustained.
Do you know which member of the Adelson family? Did you have any contact with any
No,
member
ma'am.
of the Adelson family? Did any member of the Adelson family ever pay you any money?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever have any phone calls with any member of the Adelson?
No, ma'am.
Text messages?
Nope.
Meetings?
No.
Any other type of communication?
Not at all.
Do you see the person in the courtroom that you say hired Sigfredo Garcia to do this homicide?
The only one seen is Katie.
All right, would you please point her out and describe what she's wearing?
She's wearing gray and black.
Let the record reflect the witness has
Ms. Captain,
identified.
Would you put your hand down, please, Ms.
The
Captain?
witness
It
has
makes it hard to hear you.
identified. Sir?
Makes it hard to hear you when you've got your hand up around
Yes,
your
sir.
mouth.
The witness has identified defendant Magbanua. No further questions.
Cross.
Oh, hey, dog mama Laura, how you doing?
Give me a second to set up, Your Honor.
Dog mama can't wait for justice for Danny Markel. Neither can we, dog mama. But you know, there's a dog fight to be had. Yeah, we got Scalp Rash in the red corner, building up, doing what they can, you know. But it comes down to that jury, dog mama. You know, can Scalp Rash convince at least one jury member that they don't want to send a 74-year-old, old, frail, harmless, fucking psycho woman to prison when she could be just quietly playing shuffleboard on South Beach, heading over to Yardbird with the grandkids for some chicken and waffles for lunch? You know, could they convince one jury member that they don't want to send an old lady to prison for the rest of her life? That's the game here, and that's the concern. It's real easy, knowing all of what we know in this community, having studied this case for years, and knowing how conclusive her guilt is. It's easy for us to fall into the trap of thinking, well, this is just a process. And, you know, she's going to go on trial, then she's going to be convicted, and then she's going to serve life. And that'll be one step towards more justice for the Markel family. But you know what? We're not out of the woods yet. we're not out of the woods yet. Yes, of course, it's very likely that the mountain of evidence, the voluminous exhibits that Georgia Kappelman has at her fingertips, ready to go to show this jury, it's easy for us to think that it's just going to be a process. And, you know, but trials are there to be won, as any good defense attorney would say. And, you know, could we be shocked at the outcome? Well, I think we'd certainly should be shocked if it came back as a unanimous not guilty verdict. I don't think that's going to happen. But it could come back as a hung jury. People have been asking a question around the internet like, oh, do you think that the trial will be longer than Charlie's? And do you think the jury will take more time to deliberate than they did with Charlie? And they absolutely will. I guarantee you that. There will be deliberations. And yes, they may stop for lunch, but they will also deliberate. And it's not going to be a 3-hour thing. It's going to be a longer thing. And yeah, I mean, it could come back as a hung jury. We need to be prepared for that. That might change things. That might change the point at which Wendy is arrested. Because as soon as Donna gets convicted and served life, there's nothing stopping Wendy's arrest. But if she gets a hung jury and they have to retry the case, and if Donna puts in a request to have that done within 180 days, which I believe she can do by Florida law, demand that it's done within 180 days, a retrial, which she probably would do, the state are going to want Wendy to testify in that trial. So that would be something to postpone her arrest. You know, we don't know how this is going to fall. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Hello, Veronica Sawyer, and hello, Joanne Georgiadis.
If I may proceed, Judge?
You may.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, nice to see your picture riding shotgun. It looks just like your avatar, minus the beanie. Speaking of which, guys, we have had some requests for True Crime Metrix logo beanies coming into the winter season. Yeah, we'll see if we can get some of those fixed up for you all. And definitely True Crime Metrix t-shirts. We're going to do some with the logo in the middle and some with the logo on the upper, the breast pocket, even though there's no pocket, but you know what I mean, up and to the left. Yeah. Range of colors coming soon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rivera.
Good afternoon.
Do you have any aliases other than your full legal name as Luis Rivera?
Yeah, Tato.
What about King Tato?
Yeah,
Yeah, King Taco. What? They call me the king of tacos, Taco King. You know, it all started when I entered a taco eating contest and I won. And then they called me King Taco.
King Tato.
And where is the nickname King Tato derived from?
King is from Latin king, and Tato is my nickname since I was a baby.
King is from Latin king. Ooh. So, you reckon we got to call Matlock on this one? Yeah, and Tato, I always think of Potato. I mean, if it was his nickname from a baby, and he's a pretty round guy, right? I just imagine him as a baby. He must have looked quite a lot like a large potato, a King Edward. King Edward or a Maris Piper potato. King Tato. The king is from Latin king, and Tato is because I look like a potato.
You're a Latin King legacy, right?
Yeah,
And I say that because you were born into being a Latin King, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. And by being born into this organization, that means that you had family members that were part of the organization. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Objection, relevance.
If I can explain. If I can explain, sidebar judge, it goes.
Hey, look at this, guys. Nola is calling us from the future, from lunchtime Monday afternoon. What does that mean? That you're in, okay, Vegemite. That's another clue. We know where you are, Nola. You're in Australia. Do they actually have Marmite in Australia? I bet no one in this chat knows what that is. Is that just a British thing? I saw some of it in the store in Portugal, but it's like €8 a jar. What the fuck? You know, it should be $1.25. Anyway, yeah, Vegemite, sure, why not? It's just as good.
Material.
Yeah, but you're in the UK, right, KJ? I still don't know how to pronounce either of your names. It could be Casey Jacobson or Cassie Jacobson. I'm going to call you KJ from now on. Yeah, you're in the UK, KJ, right? Most of Sam Zanganay's cross-examination is silent. It's just him standing at the podium going through paperwork, you know, in a rush, in a bit of a rush. I mean, you know, it's tough. This is the one witness he needs to take down to show the jury that he's a liar and a crook and a criminal. But you know, he's got his work cut out for him. Hey, Monica, how you doing? I want to see you do something with Marmite, okay? You're the chef of the community, so what can we do with Marmite? I'm thinking, I don't know. What is there to cook with Marmite? Personally, it's nice to put a teaspoonful in with a soup. You know, just let it boil right up with a teaspoon of Marmite, thickens the broth. It's almost like a stock cube. You know, try it. yeah. You make a nice chicken soup or a beef stew, like an Irish stew. Teaspoon of Marmite into the water, mix it right up, let it boil off. It's good. Okay, this is now becoming the Marmite channel, guys. But Joanne Georgiadis asks, "What is Marmite?" Well, it's a black spread that you can put on bread and butter or toast. It's good on toast. Or sometimes when I was a kid, my mother used to make a boiled egg, and the toast was sliced into long, thin strips called soldiers, right? So you dip the soldiers in the egg, and we used to put Marmite on that with the egg. Yeah. It was good. It was good. But no, it's yeast extract, I believe, is what it is. But it's definitely an acquired taste. Anytime that I've given that to someone later in life that's never had it before, after 30 or 40 years, they say, "What the fuck is this?" Yeah, I think you have to grow up with it to enjoy it.
May I proceed?
And Mr. Rivera, what was your title with the North Miami tribe of the Latin Kings uh, when you got arrested in this case?
This case right here,
Or the federal case?
I was a leader.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's 5 designations of leaders in the Latin King organization, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's certain crowns.
Oh, Nola, now you're talking. You see, this is a trick that only the very few most fortunate people on planet Earth know. If you make some toast, you let it cool down to room temperature, and then apply butter and Marmite if you want, or Vegemite, whatever. But yeah, that cooled down toast thing, nobody thinks that. People always think it's a mistake. Not so. I do it on purpose.
That's correct. There's like a 5th crown, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that called the secretary?
Yes, sir.
There's a 4th crown, which is called the treasurer.
Yes, sir.
There's a 3rd crown, which is called the enforcer.
Yes, sir.
There's a 2nd crown that's called, I can't pronounce it, it's CACIQU.
Sausike.
Okay.
Sazike.
And then there's the Inca or the Primera, the 1st crown, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's what you were.
Yes, sir.
The 1st crown of the North Miami tribe of the Latin Kings, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in addition to being a local organization, well, it's not just a local organization, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
There's Latin Kings throughout the state of Florida, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And in addition,
I'm sorry, but if the head or the Primera, the 1st crown, whatever, if the head of the Latin Kings gets of the Northern Miami tribe of the Latin Kings, sounds pretty important, right? But if you're still like broke and ferrying around cement in a wheelbarrow to make ends meet. In between all your kill on sight orders and your big drug deals and your jack boy robbing drug dealers for 20, 30 grand at a time, blah, 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 blah. If you're still fucking up your life so bad that you're laying blocks for a living for coastal masonry, I mean, that just doesn't sound like a very good enterprise to me. Certainly not on the level of the mafia or even the Hells Angels, right? I think they've got their shit together a little bit better than the fucking Latin Kings. I mean, what is the deal with this? Is it just a tough guy club or is it a business? Because if it's a business, it doesn't sound like a great one. You know what I mean?
To the state of Florida, I believe there's 39 states in the United States where the Latin Kings have a presence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
At the time of this incident in 2014, how old were you, sir?
Like 32.
32. And you had been the Inca, or the first crown of the North Miami tribe since you were about 15 or 16. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How many members of the North Miami tribe were there in 2014?
I mean, that's a question for real.
I'm sorry, sir?
That's a serious question.
I'm asking it.
There can be a lot, no doubt.
How many, if you remember, as the leader of this North Miami tribe, how many members of the Latin Kings were part of the North Miami tribe in 2014?
Probably had like 100,
100.
probably.
Does that include all of Miami, or is that just North Miami?
That's just North Miami.
So including Miami, that number goes up. Is that correct?
Of course.
And as we move exponentially north and west and a little bit south, the numbers increase, correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with me that there is a Latin King presence in Key West?
Yeah.
Broward County,
Yes.
Tampa,
Everywhere.
okay. Everywhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to ask some specifics, and I apologize for cutting you off, but I just need to make sure I get my questions out. So St. Petersburg, yes?
Yes.
Because that's part of everywhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Naples, correct?
Yes, sir.
Jacksonville?
Yes.
What about here in Tallahassee?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
Don't
Isn't
know.
Tallahassee part of everywhere?
Yeah, but I don't associate people in Tallahassee. Never been in Tallahassee in my life.
So just so I'm clear, when I asked you if there's
That
Latin,
usually means you're gonna repeat a question. Let's not repeat, Mr. Sangan.
so out of all the places in Florida,
He misses some really important questions. Oh, you've never been to Tallahassee? Well, have you been to Jacksonville? Have you been to Naples? Have you been to St. Petersburg? As far as I know, this guy has never been outside of Miami. You know, not even the wider area, just Miami Beach. Whole life. I don't know. Maybe he's gone over to Puerto Rico or whatever, but you know, he's just listed other cities in Florida. And of course he knows that there's a Latin King presence in Tallahassee. And, you know, to be honest, I don't know why that wasn't utilized. There's this view that he wanted to keep the Latin Kings out of this side deal, right? Well, why? If you're in a crime family doing a crime, that's what they're there for, isn't it?
that have Latin Kings, the only place that you're not aware if they have Latin Kings is here in Tallahassee. Is that your testimony?
Yeah, I mean, they got them, but I don't know nobody from Tallahassee.
So now you're saying that they have them, but you don't
They
know
got
them
'em.
personally, correct?
They got them, but I don't know nobody in Tallahassee.
Well, do you think that they know you?
Maybe.
Okay. And that's because you're a leader in a substantially sized tribe of the Latin Kings. Is that correct?
Yeah, they don't know me, but they probably know my name.
So could you pick up a phone and call somebody and get information on somebody that's associated with the Latin Kings in, let's say, Jacksonville? Could you do that?
If you're the leader, of course.
Okay. And you were a leader, right?
Yes, sir.
So what about, could you pick up the phone and find out if there's people in Gainesville? You could do that as a leader, right?
Yes, sir.
Everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
Okay. Because in addition to being a local organization, it's a statewide and national organization, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been a leader of this organization pretty much your entire adult life, correct?
Yes, sir.
How do you become, what do you need to do to become a Latin King?
I was born into it.
What about, what is your definition of gangbang?
Gangbang.
Yes, sir?
Latin King is a family. First and foremost,
What is your definition of gang bang? Well,
family. It's an organization that everybody take care of everybody. You take care of the neighborhood.
Do you recall if I ever asked you what were the things you had to do to become a Latin King? Do you recall that?
Yeah.
Do you recall what your answer was?
No, I don't remember.
If I show you a copy
You gotta read it.
of I gotta read it?
Yeah, I can't read.
Let me ask you this. Did you tell me on
hey, we got to do a poll on this, guys. Can Luis Rivera read? And just, I'm not saying that he necessarily can't read, but I'm saying that it does sound like one of those things that you can use to play the system a little bit, right? The state can't prove you don't read. Let's open that up to a poll. I want to see what the public think. Let's play.
on January 31st, 2018, that to get initiated in the gang, you had just gangbanged. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
And would it be safe to say that when I asked you to expand on what gangbanging means, you said surviving life? Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
Does that include selling drugs?
Everything, I guess.
Okay. Did you sell drugs?
Yes, sir. I gotta
Hey.
survive.
And you did this to take care of your family, correct?
Yes, sir.
And to take care of the nation, right?
Yes, sir.
And when I say the nation, I'm discussing the Latin King nation.
Yeah, and to buy the occasional golden motorcycle and that all important Toyota Camry that I was saving up for. Kills Professor Markel, buys a Camry, folks. I mean, a fucking Toyota Camry. It would have been better to take his Honda Accord. It looked like a pretty good one. Black, nice new Honda Accord. That's got to be better than a Camry. He could have come back in a couple more years and got an Acura.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, would proceeds from your illegal activity go back to the organization?
Repeat that question again.
Sure, no problem. Would the proceeds
What proceed mean?
like the money you make,
Okay.
okay? If there's ever a time where I ask a question that you don't understand what I'm saying, let me know. And I'll
I'm
clarify
doing
just so I'll make sure that everybody's on the same page, all
I'm
right?
doing it right now, sir.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Again, would I have Luis Rivera stay at my house? Absolutely. I think we'd get on. Yeah, okay, he did the murder and he's a dodgy guy and he's a criminal. But I could totally wave with this guy. Easy.
So proceeds means what money you make. So the money you made from your illegal activity, did you give it back to the nation?
It's a treasure. You put money in a treasure.
Okay. So the answer is yes.
Yes.
He'd come over. I'd say, listen, Luis, what do you want to do tonight? He'd say, hey, man, I really feel like getting some tacos. I'd say, funny, you should say. I was just in the mood for some tacos. Let's go. And we'd stay there the whole night long. Soft shell, crunchy, hot sauce, shrimp, chicken, beef, few bell peppers. Awesome.
Now, to your knowledge,
Yeah, I'd much rather have this guy stay at my house than Charlie fucking Adelson. Was T behind what happened to me? Well, what happened to me? Do you remember how many times he said that the other day? I didn't think that Katie was behind what happened to me. Anytime someone's using that, you know, overly open, ambiguous statement that really doesn't say anything. It's a bit like the undercover when he says, Mrs. Adelson? Yeah, Mrs. Adelson. I was with Taco up in Broward. And he told me everything. Everything means nothing until you explain what everything is. Everything is just and this is the number one clue that was a fucking cop, right? Because when you talk in those open terms, this ain't going away, man. Yeah, we helped you with your family problem up north, man. Do the right thing, man. This ain't going away. Take care of Taco like you've been taking care of Katie and Tudo, man. He told me everything. It's just a waste of time. It sounds really ominous and threatening, but unless we assign everything to have meaning, it has no meaning, right? What is it? Like he went through the encyclopedia and said everything? Not that much to do in jail, huh?
let me ask it this way. Is there a man?
Yeah, right, Joanne. I wouldn't be. Sigfredo is way more volatile, loose cannon. And probably he'd be on the phone arguing with Katie yeah. And I wouldn't. I'm not saying that I would necessarily trust Luis Rivera either, but I think it would be much easier to have the measure of where he's at. Sigfredo, I don't know if I'd have that same measure. Plus, he's really tall.
Manual or a book that your organization uses that has rules in it?
Yes, sir.
And does it go by the initials KMC?
Yes, sir.
Tell the members of the jury what those initials stand for.
You say KMC?
Yes, sir?
It's AKMC. Amor de Rey.
Okay. I'm sorry. I can barely understand what you're saying. Can you say that a little bit louder, sir?
Amor de Rey.
Okay. And is that English or another language?
That's Spanish.
Okay. And hence the name Latin Kings, correct?
Latin King.
And even though you can't read or write, can you translate from English to Spanish?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell the members of this jury from English to Spanish what that means?
That means almighty. Almighty love.
Almighty love. And that's your rule book, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard it initialized as KMC?
Yes, sir.
And do you know what? Well, let me ask it this way: is there a portion in that with regards to a code of silence that your gang has to abide by?
Yes, sir.
So one of the principles that's in your rule book is that whatever activity you do within your organization should maintain within that organization. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And whatever activity that you do
Yeah, right, riding shotgun. You couldn't leave Sigfredo alone in the living room for 2 fucking minutes, right? He'd be blowing a hole in the coffee table. It's like, you leave him in the living room and go to the kitchen, to get a couple of tacos fixed up, and you just hear this gun go off, and you don't even react anymore. It happens so often. You just roll your eyes to yourself in the kitchen, like, oh my god, here we go again. What's he blown a hole in now? The fish tank. Shit. Fucking blown a hole in the fish tank. There's goldfish all over the carpet.
If it's illegal, you're not supposed to talk about it, correct?
Of course.
Now, according to your book, the KMC, is there a punishment or a violation that one receives if you provide information against another Latin king?
What do you mean by that?
So let's say
It's kind of funny, with a witness like Luis Rivera, the people that are arguing against him, trying to cast aspersions on his testimony, right? Is that the right word? Am I being too clever? Cast aspersions on his testimony. Yeah, we have to give fancy fiction credit for that. Cast aspersions, so I can blame her if it's wrong. Yeah, they're trying to cast aspersions on his testimony. And actually, how do they do that? They do it by, and the prosecution, they gave you a sweet deal, right? 19 years. Yeah, they give you a sweet deal. And then they told you what to say. And they told you to tell everybody it was Sigfredo and Katie. Actually, doesn't it make him a super reliable witness? You see him up here. He's got kind of nothing to prove. All he has to do is tell the truth. So that's why he comes across so truth teller-ish. He's like accepted the fate. Okay, I got 19 years. I was doing 12 and a half anyway. I got another 7 on top of that I'm going to have to do in state after I'm done my time in the feds. And that's the deal. So here's everything I know. It makes him a more reliable witness. It depends how you look at it, I guess.
buddy of yours, one of your brothers, let's call him King Anthony, okay? Let's say King Anthony did a crime and you helped the prosecution or you helped the police prosecute him. Would that be a violation according to your rule book?
Objection, relevance, and hypothetical.
Overruled.
Go ahead, sir.
Of course.
What would be your punishment?
Yeah, Sigfredo builds sandcastles with the kids on the beach and then accidentally blows a hole through them. He's trying to hide the gun on the beach, putting it under a towel, and it goes off, blows a hole in the sandcastles he just made with the kids. Just a fucking walking liability.
I'm going through it right now. They're trying to kill me.
They're going to try to kill you.
Yeah.
So you'll agree with me that cooperating against a fellow king would result in probably the most serious penalty that you can have in your manifesto, correct?
Of course.
Loss of your life.
Yes, sir.
I think just admitting the existence of the agency is enough, right? You don't even have to rat out King Anthony or King whoever, just saying, yes, I was a member of that organization and here's a little bit of information about them. You're supposed to have silence, never admit the existence of this thing, right?
Now you have a tattoo designating your allegiance to your organization, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's on your stomach?
Yes, sir.
And it's the 5 points or the 5 points of the crown, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you still have that tattoo?
Yes, I do.
Are you still a member of the Latin Kings?
Nope.
When did you lose your membership?
When I went back to Coleman, back to the feds, 2016,
When in 2016?
right when I came over here to cooperate.
So at the beginning of your cooperation, which I would say late September, early October, does that sound about right, sir?
Yeah.
You lost your affiliation because you violated one of the rules.
Yeah, Joanne, we were thinking about doing a test. You know, everyone's talking online about testing moldy money, and it's like, I don't know why that needs to even be tested, really. It's like if you put anything damp in a sealed plastic bag in Florida humidity, it's going to go moldy within 24 hours. I mean, that just seems obvious to me. But I was thinking about running a test on toilet wine, right? Because what they'll do, they get a piece of fruit every day, and they'll take a bit of the fruit, maybe a couple of slices of apple, a few segments of orange, and they'll put that in a bag. And then they'll grab a piece of bread and rub it, like into breadcrumbs almost. So you've got the yeast to help the fermentation process. They'll put that with the fruit in a bag, and maybe a bit of sugar if they get sugar with the coffee or something. What else? And then water, I guess. And they'll just let that sit in the bag inside the fucking toilet, and it will turn into alcohol. I mean, I bet it's disgusting and it will make anybody very sick. It's probably a lot more like tripping than being drunk. But yeah, that's what they do. And I guess it's a big business in jail, you know. Everything's a business in jail. Everything's tradable, right? So if you're the guy that's making the hooch, I guess you can trade that for a few cigarettes. Or no, they don't even have cigarettes, do they? Well, what do you trade it for? I don't know. Noodles, instant noodles.
In your Latin King manifesto, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you in general population at Coleman? I'm sorry. Let me ask the question this way. Where are you currently housed?
Arizona.
Okay. And that's in a federal facility?
Yes, sir.
And as the prosecution said, you are currently serving a 151-month sentence based on your agreement to plead guilty in a federal racketeering case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you know what racketeering, sorry. I apologize, strike that question. And so as part of your federal sentence, you have been designated by the Bureau of Prisons, right?
Yes, sir.
And your designation in the Bureau of Prisons is in a federal facility in Arizona, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you'll agree with me that for inmates that they're concerned for their safety and welfare, there's a special portion of the federal facility that they could put you in, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's called the SHU, right?
Yes, sir.
And the SHU stands for Special Housing Unit, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently in the SHU?
Not right now.
Okay. When you say not right now, I see that you're here in Leon County, right?
Yes,
So when you meant not right now, prior to them bringing you over here, when's the last time you were in the SHU?
In Leon County.
I'm sorry?
In Leon County.
In Leon County. When you were in federal custody, were you ever in special housing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about in Arizona?
The Arizona, that prison I'm in, is called a drop-by yard, but it's called a PC, protected custody. That's where they got me at right now.
So are you in special housing in your federal facility?
No.
You're in general population, correct?
Yes, sir.
have they had this, by they, well, let me rephrase that. You indicated earlier that if you testified against the Latin King, they try to kill you, correct?
Testify against anybody.
Well, I'm asking you testifying against the Latin King.
He answered your question. Do you have another question?
Yes, Judge. What is a KOS order?
KOS?
Yes.
KOS.
Right.
Kill on site?
Kill on sight? Are you familiar with that?
I just said it, sir.
Have you ever given a KOS order?
No.
Do we believe him there? I mean, do we think that Luis and Sigfredo have killed other people? My feeling is no. My feeling about this whole northern Miami faction of the Latin Kings is that it was basically for show. I mean, okay, you rob drug dealers. Well, that's basic. Anyone can do that. You know, I mean, that's not a major crime deal. I don't know. You know, I'm not committed to the answer, but my feeling is that Luis Rivera and Sigfredo Garcia, this was their first murder. That's my feeling. I'm open to suggestions, but that's my general feeling.
You're aware that at some point between September and November, the U.S. government put a wire intercept on your federal indictment investigation on your phone. Is that correct?
Yeah, they got caught. Yeah, I knew.
And what I'm asking you is this. You know that the feds had you wired up for a month.
Yeah, I found out.
Okay. And you found out because, like in any criminal investigation, one of the things that they do is they show you the evidence that they have against you, right?
Yes, sir.
And you'll agree with me that in your federal investigation, you learned that for 30 days, the federal government listened to every one of your phone calls. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You see, I just said hello, crime and coffee, but then I realized I was on mute. That happened. That had to happen when you got here, didn't it, Crime? How you doing, Crime? Good to see you.
In October 2014, did you have, as a Latin King, an issue with members of the 400 gang that moved into Highland Village?
Yes, sir.
And in late October of 2014, did you, Luis Rivera, initiate a series of phone calls asking for assistance from fellow Latin King gang members? Do you
Yes,
recall
sir.
doing that? And do you recall that what you initially wanted to do, or what you asked your fellow Latin Kings, your brothers, to do?
Hey, I'm going to settle this for everybody right now. Rochelle, in this case, is spelt with one L. Man, I am so glad that I have a name that doesn't have to be spelt out. You know those people that spend their whole lives talking to people on the phone, talking to, I don't know, front desk at a hotel or something, and they have to say, "Yes, yes, my name is Sarah, Sara, no H, no H." You know? How many there's people that have a name that has to be having the spelling confirmed. They just must feel like they spend their whole lives saying, "Yes, yes, yes, it's Rochelle, that's Richle." But that's what it is, folks. Just so I know there's some confusion out there on the internet. Is it one L? Is it two L's? Is it Rochelle? No, it's Richelle with one L.
Was to get armed up and come and help you deal with these other gang members. Is that correct?
Action, relevance?
Sustained.
Have you ever been involved, other than the case that we're talking about, have you ever been involved in the distribution of narcotics?
Objection, relevance?
Let's go sidebar.
Why are they going sidebar? That's obviously irrelevant. Have you ever been involved, Mr. Rivera, in the distribution of narcotics? Yes. Yes. All my life I've been dealing coke and weed. But that's got nothing to do with Professor Markel. But of course, Mr. Hand Grenade wants to come and say, and when did you start serving Charlie Adelson cocaine? Because his whole thing, remember, guys, is that Charlie was buying coke off the Latin King in the clubs because clubs rhymes with drugs. So that's where they met. Gangsters love clubs. Charlie loves clubs. They were buying drugs. And then Charlie hired Luis Rivera to do the killing on his own. Didn't involve Sigfredo. But when Luis Rivera was facing the death penalty, decided to point the finger at his best friend and make-believe brother, Sigfredo, in order to get a 7-year sentence for himself. But we kind of lose track. I feel like I have to keep reminding us that that's the whole point of Mr. Hand Grenade's defense, because he loses us, but not nearly as much as Daniel Rashbaum. In fact, I think Donna Adelson would have a better shot with this guy as her attorney. And Daniel Rashbaum, if you're listening out there, man, you suck. You suck as an attorney. You're nothing. We can see you in your mind doing your catalog shopping, thinking, yes, yes. What about the white gold Rolex with the diamond center, and it has the countdown to the next millennium in 1,000 years? Yeah, we can see you. We know you don't give a fuck about the case. We know that all you care about is make-believing that your client says that you did a good job. You suck. You're a terrible lawyer, and we can't wait to see you fail. Daniel Rashbaum, fuck you. Hello, Kim. How you doing? Are you lifting those weights tonight, Kim? Yeah, get on it. Make sure you have yourself a protein shake, or just 8 to 9 cans of tuna. That'll do you just right. Well, thanks so much for the sticker, Kim. Yeah. We really appreciate that, Kim. And we hope you're loving the Don't Be an Adelson t-shirt. So we're going up against some heavy hitters tonight, guys, right? There's Fancy going live. There's who else is going live? Are people dipping in and out? Because we got low numbers tonight, guys, which is fine, I got up super late or early or whichever the case may be. You know, almost didn't do a stream tonight. It was like, yeah, I'm really enjoying sleeping. But we're here with the 74 of you, and we all love you very much. Got to get through this testimony, right? Luis Rivera, we're only on 2019, folks. You know, I don't even think we're done today in 2019. Then we got 2022, 2023, all set for 2024, right? Dana Adelson's trial. And Luis Rivera has put a bit of weight back on, which is good because seeing him in 2023 at Charlie Adelson's trial, he looked old, he looked tired, he looked thin. It was like, Luis, come on, eat those tacos, boy. Yeah, we're so glad that you could make it, Joanne. It's always nice to have you here. Guys, this deja vu, another super sticker from Kim. Thanks so much, Kim. That's very, very generous and kind of you.
May I inquire, Judge?
You may?
Mr. Rivera, did you sell drugs in the year 2000?
Hey, Joanne, I'll show you some pictures of some jail food. How about that?
2012.
Yes, sir.
What drugs did you sell in the year 2012?
Weed and cocaine.
Did you sell drugs in the year 2013?
Probably my whole life.
So would it be fair to say that from your teenage years up until your arrest, you were involved in the distribution of narcotics?
Yes, sir.
And I know this because we've spoken about.
We'll take a little pause on this for a moment, guys, and just check out some, you know, what's being served on the line today in the mess hall. What do we have here? Well, nothing good. What do we got? What is that? It looks like some... This is breakfast, right? This is some kind of oat crunchies with some watery UHT milk, some kind of fruit salad with some grapes that look like they're from the year 1840. What is that? Little jam there. Butter. Yeah, that'll keep your calories up. Little coffee cup and some, what the hell is that? Is that grits? Hey, all you southern women, is that grits? Because if it is, I don't want any. Well, this doesn't look too bad. We've got the special fried rice. Maybe some, what is that, chili sauce? No, that's a drink, right? Cream cake. Refried beans. And what the hell are those things? Is that toast? It's like Melba toast, right? What else have we got here? Oh, fuck off. What about this one? Ooh. Well, that's just a cartoon. It looks even worse as a cartoon. Well, that looks nice. Hey, I'd order that at Yardbird. Yeah, I'll have the salad with salad. What is that, chicken breast? Just put it on a waffle and I'm right on South Beach. What's this one? Some nuggets, cookies, tater tots, milk. Well, this is like every 8-year-old's dream, isn't it? Okay, maybe that's enough of that. But yeah, prison food. What does Judge Everett say? Jail sucks.
Was initially just weed, right?
Yes, sir.
And as you got older, you started selling powder, right? Have you ever committed an armed robbery?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember ever giving me an answer different than that?
I can't remember.
Now, you said that you can't read or write, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you know the difference between the words yes and no?
Yes, sir.
May I approach, Judge?
He
It's
said
paper.
he can't read. You're not gonna give him something to read. That's what they're-
Judge, it's just a
Hey, Kim, I think you and I, we're stuck in the super sticker loop. What's going on, Kim? Put your money away. No, that's really appreciated, Kim. And we love the hair.
differentiate between the words yes and no.
No. Proceed.
Do you recall taking a deposition with me on January 31st, 2018?
Yes, sir.
And during that deposition, I was there, Ms. Kappelman was there,
Yes, sir.
and there was a person that's called the court reporter that was taking notes of what you were saying.
Yes, sir.
Judge, I'm going to refer to line 22 and 23. I asked you, have you ever committed an armed robbery? And your answer was no. Now, today, when I ask you that, your answer is now yes,
Question
right?
is, do you recall that question and that answer?
Do you recall that
Be
question and that?
proper impeachment.
Do you recall that question and answer?
I can't remember.
Once again, Your Honor, I would ask to be able to show the witness.
Move on, Mr. Singer.
Hey, Kim, what do you got? Short-term memory loss? Yeah, you're making it rain, girl. It's like I need an umbrella with all this support. That's so nice of you, Kim. Thanks. But you're making me feel like a stripper, you know. But in a good way.
So you indicated you have committed armed robberies, right?
Yes, sir.
And you gave a statement to law enforcement, I believe October 4th?
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were through with your question.
No, Judge, on October 4th, 2016, you remember that?
Hey, we've got one of our much adorned southern residents in the house tonight, guys. Rayanne says that it was not grits. That was biscuit with southern sausage and bacon gravy. You see, if that was sold to me visiting someone's house in Louisiana or Mississippi, I'd be like, yes, get me some of that biscuit with southern sausage and bacon gravy right now. I want a full bowl. But in prison, not so much. But thanks for the pointer, Ryan.
Let me kind of refresh your recollection. You're sitting there, you got your lawyer, Mr. Collins, to your right, you got Detective Isom on your left, and you got an FBI investigator, Mr. Sanford, directly in front of you.
I got my lawyer who to my right?
Chuck Collins.
I think it was David Collins.
Oh, so you do remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to refresh my memory too.
Is David the older or the younger gentleman?
David is the father.
Is the father. Okay. So you had David Collins to your right. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're sitting at a table, right? And you remember that they told you that they videotaped the interview, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So would it sound about right that this whole videotaped statement that you gave on October 4th?
What did I hear about David Collins the other day? Someone was telling me that they live right next to. David Collins lives up in Benton Hills, not just off Trescott Drive, right? On a sub road of Trescott Drive. Oh man, I can't remember the context. Anyway, next.
2016, in the presence of your lawyer, with Detective Isom, Detective Stanford, took about 2 hours long. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Do you also remember that during that videotape statement, you called yourself a jack boy? Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's a jack boy?
Jack boys that rob drug dealers.
Rob drug dealers. Now, when you rob a drug dealer, do you rob them on the streets, or do you go to their house?
Go to the house and take their dope.
Because drug dealers don't keep their dope out of the streets. It's usually stashed somewhere in their house, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to ask serious questions with regards to these. I mean, do you knock on the door and say, "Excuse me, can I have your drugs?" Does it work like that?
No.
So would it be fair to say that when you go in there, you have the intention to either use force or intimidate by using or intimidate with the use of force?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And would it be a fair statement to say that you do this while you're armed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what would be the weapon that you would most likely use during a robbery of a drug dealer?
A handgun.
Okay. And what happens if you go in and you ask well, let me ask you a question. Do you knock on the door or do you kick down the door?
I knock on the door.
You knock on the door?
Yeah.
Okay. And when they open the door, what do you do?
You give me everything.
Okay. And do you set up surveillance before you do these robberies?
No.
No. Okay. So do you care whether or not if there's kids in the house when you're committing an armed robbery of a drug dealer?
I do carry the kids in the house, and when I do rob somebody, there's no kids in the house.
But you just told me you don't do surveillance, so how do you know?
Because there ain't going to be no kids in the house. We know the guy we're going to rob. That's it.
You know the guy that you're going to rob.
Yeah.
But yet you didn't do any surveillance, right?
Ain't no kids in the house.
So you're telling me every time you hit a drug dealer, you knew whether or not that there were kids in the house because you have those moral standards?
Yes, sir. I never hit nobody with no kids in no house.
Kim, what are you looking for? A happy ending? Stop. We really appreciate it, Kim. You're a diamond, one of our most valued contributors at True Crime Metrix, and we just couldn't thank you enough.
And you're saying that under oath to this jury.
Yes, sir.
And you understand what being under oath is, correct?
Go ahead. Explain to me.
I mean, at the beginning, you raised your right hand, you swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure as your lawyer has advised you, there is a penalty for lying under oath, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you ever lied under oath?
No.
That's not a proper question, Mr. Sanguinetti.
Let me ask you a
Yes.
question. Do you recall when you pled guilty in federal court, there was a document called a factual proffer? Do you recall that?
Yeah, I heard it.
May I approach, Judge? May I approach, Your Honor?
What purpose is it to show somebody can't read the written document, Mr. Sanguinetti?
Judge, it's got his initials on it, it has his signature,
All right.
it's got a date.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Rivera, I'm showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 2.
But we already have a defense exhibit 2 unless we're gonna do separate documents for Garcia.
It's under Garcia,
Montana.
Judge. I apologize, it's been marked as Garcia number 2. You want me to change that, Your Honor?
That'll be okay for now. We can discuss that later.
Now, you indicated that you can't read But you know what your name looks like, right?
Of course.
Whose name is that right there?
My name.
Is that your signature in the bottom right-hand corner?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, your initials
Yes, sir.
on page 1? Are these your initials on page 2?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials on page 3?
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials on page 4, sir?
Yes, sir.
And whose signature is that?
Mine.
And do you read numbers?
Yeah.
What number is that?
11, 6, 15.
So on November 6, 2015, is that the day you gave your factual proffer?
Yes.
Are these the signatures? Is that your name? And these are the initials?
Yes, sir.
At this time, Judge, I'll move Defense Exhibit 2 under Garcia into evidence.
Sir.
Objection, hearsay.
For impeachment.
I sustain the objection. At this point in time, I fail to see the relevance, but move on, Mr. Stangenet.
Do you recall me asking you if you had...
Kim, you're the one that gets us through, me and Soap. We both love you. We think you're great. And we just couldn't thank you enough, Kim. You know, and it's just, aside from the super stickers, Kim, it's just so great to see you here and to have you here and to know that you're there with your chipmunk friends, feeding them almonds like the queen you are.
the crimes associated with your factual proffer on your record?
Yes, sir.
And you told me that even though it's on your record, that you didn't do some of these crimes. Is that correct?
Yeah, I told you that.
You told me that, right?
Yeah.
And the document that I just showed you, did your lawyer, when he went over it with you, indicate that there's a portion that says, I agree with all the facts set forth in the factual proffer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And also, when you took your plea of guilty in front of a federal judge, did he read this factual proffer to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, he
Okay.
did.
Word for word, right?
Not word for word, but he told me, he explained to me.
Okay. And in
Sustain the objection, Mr. Stangenet. Let's move on.
which objection?
Oh, Kim, this is so appreciated. Please, please, that's enough. You need to feed your chipmunks and look after yourself. You know, make sure you eat a lunch tomorrow, Kim. That's all I'm going to say. It's really appreciated, though. And we're just, from the bottom of our hearts, me and Soap, we thank you so much. But that's enough. Your presence is a gift enough to this channel and to everyone here, Kim. You're kind. There are no words. There are no words, Kim.
I found it's not relevant. Move on.
Give me just 1 second, Judge.
Sure.
Mr. Garcia, I'm sorry, Mr. Rivera, have you ever used your position as a leader in the Latin Kings to recruit other Latin Kings to help you further any violent crimes?
Yes, sir.
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Yes,
You can
sir.
answer that.
Well, I got a question for you. I'm here for another
Well,
indictment.
Judge, with all, sorry, Judge, I'm objecting to the witness asking questions of the attorney.
Ask another question.
So if you could answer that, the question that I just asked you, if
Ask
you,
your question again, please.
sure, no problem. Mr. Rivera, have you ever instilled the use of other Latin kings to further any kind of violent criminal act?
Yes, sir.
In fact, in the 1 month that your phone had a wire intercept, to other fellow Latin kings, isn't that correct?
Objection, relevance?
Olive rule, please.
So you can answer that question.
Yes, sir.
So in a 30-day period,
You've asked it once.
Thank you,
He's
Judge.
answered it
Yes, sir.
once. We don't need to do it twice.
no problem, Judge, thank you. And in the future, if I refer to other fellow kings, is every fellow king have the word king prior to a nickname or a designation?
Yes, sir.
So the person that you were talking about earlier, Anthony, was it Rivera?
Torres.
Anthony Torres, did he have a king name?
Jíbaro. Jíbaro.
And is he still alive?
He's dead, sir.
Did he die here in South Florida?
I was in prison when I found out.
Do you know where he died?
Nah.
Do you know how he died?
I heard a motorcycle accident.
And this is the individual that you're claiming you called to find my client when Katie called you, right?
Yes, sir.
Katie is Sigfredo's wife, as you described her, right?
Yes, sir.
Kim, I hope you got real lucky on a scratch card today or something, because you've sent us over $50 tonight, Kim. We couldn't be more appreciative, but please save your money for the chipmunks, okay? Let some of these other freeloaders chip in, okay? We love the support for the channel, but that's enough, Kim. From one person, it's just so humbling to have your support, Kim. But make sure those chipmunks can eat, please. What are they called? Oh, I can't remember their names, but they're fantastic. What's his name? Chipper and you'll have to remind me. What did you call your chipmunks?
She has his numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
You have his numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
And just for the record, Sigfredo had multiple phones at all times, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's get to June 4th, okay? Or let's get to June 3rd. Do you remember what time Sigfredo came up to you and told you that he had a job for you in Tallahassee?
It was late night, maybe like about 10.
I love this, Kerry B. I love how this case brings random sentences that we can apply to our daily lives. Now we've got a brand new one that's not even strictly from the case, just out of this chat, which is go feed your chipmunks. You know, if someone's annoying you tomorrow in work, folks, just turn to them and say, like it makes perfect sense, just go feed your chipmunks. I love that. I love that.
11 o'clock at night, somewhere around there.
Okay. What time did you guys hit the road?
Excuse me?
What time did you guys get on the road?
Right away.
Right away. Okay. So
Chipper and stripper. I tell you, I'm the stripper. I just need a purple thong so I can put all these dollar bills.
let's just go ahead and say around 11 o'clock. Does that sound about right?
Maybe. Can't really remember the time, but I'm saying like between 9 to 11 was out the way.
Okay. 9 to 11 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Indra. How are you doing?
And this is when Sigfredo Garcia came to you with a rented, was it a Nissan?
I think it was.
But you didn't rent the car there that day, correct?
Nope.
And he came to you and he told you you had a job, right?
Yes.
And when did he tell you you had that job?
In my house.
Okay. And from there, and you went and you got a gun, right?
I can't remember if it was the same day or not.
And hello, Leslie. So looking forward to your trial updates next week, Leslie. And it was so nice to hear your accent today. I knew it would be nice. I just knew it. Every time I read messages to you, I was reading it in a rich Southern sort of Tennessee accent, and I was right.
Let me ask you this way. You had guns at your disposal, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're a Latin king. You can call. Did you have your own personal fire?
And hello, Tiffany. So nice to see you in a live, girl. How you doing? Yeah, guys, listen, I have 7% battery and no way to charge. How's this charge? I don't think there's any way to charge. Can we hook up another battery? Oh, man. I don't know if we're going to get all the way through. It's going to be like 5 minutes left on this video. Let's turn the brightness right down. Oh, these struggles. We're going to change one day, folks. We're going to have a real studio with mains power. Yeah, we're going to have cameras and lighting, and we're going to use electricity with such abandon that you'll wonder how you ever lived without Metrix connected to the grid. We're going to be back on the grid soon enough, man.
No, I went and bought one.
Let me see if I didn't ask that question correctly. Did you have your own piece? Did you have your own firearm for your own protection prior to the day?
I always kept one.
You always kept it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had your own gun, right? Luis Rivera's gun, right?
Yes, sir.
But you chose not to take that gun because you wanted to find another gun. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Because wouldn't that be a smarter thing to do? Have a firearm if you're going to commit, whether it's a home invasion or a murder, that nobody knows is yours, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay? So, did you call one of your Latin King brothers to get a gun?
Nope.
Where'd you go?
To the corner.
To the corner, like in the hood?
In the hood.
Okay. And so you got a gun from a guy in the corner. White guy or black guy?
Black guy.
Black guy. So a black guy in the hood, you walked up to him and said, I need a piece, right?
Yes, sir.
Would it be safe to say, well, let me ask you this. In your Latin King manifesto, does it talk about not involving?
All right, so
Yeah, I don't want to see myself in a thong either, Sky Trooper. But we're going to leave it to the audience, right? We're going to start a poll.
A portion of the Latin King manifesto, which suggests that if you were to buy a gun to commit a crime, you'd buy it from another king to make sure you don't get in trouble.
No. You can buy it from wherever you want to buy it from.
You've been a leader of this organization since you were 15 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And so you understand, I mean, you're cooperating now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you understand there's informants and cooperators everywhere, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Could be a stranger, could allegedly be your best friend, right?
Yes, sir.
So instead of calling one of your 100 gang member brothers, where you are the king of the castle, the lion of the jungle, you choose to go to the hood and ask a stranger for a gun. That's your testimony?
Yes, sir, because
Okay.
they don't got nothing to do with what I'm about to do.
So you go and you get this firearm. Does the gun come with bullets at least?
No.
You have to buy bullets separately?
Yes, sir.
All right. Kind of like a toy without batteries?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
say that.
So, where'd you go buy the bullets?
In a gun store.
So you didn't ask the same guy on the corner to throw you some bullets in?
No.
Okay. So you go to the gun store and do you buy a pack of bullets?
Single bullets.
You buy single bullets? And is this regulated by the person that owns the firearm store?
What episode are you talking about?
No.
No? So you can just go buy bullets, you don't have to give ID or anything?
Never gave my ID.
And you bought a single bullet?
Now we got a few bullets.
You bought 3 bullets.
A few bullets. Like
I'm sorry,
like
I
15 bullets.
I
Oh, you want me to give you the
misunderstood.
number correct?
Well, it's kind of hard to hear you sometimes. So 15 bullets?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
call-
it's kind of hard to decipher your kind of street ghetto lingo. Few bullet, 15 bullet.
Garcia and asked him if he needed some bullets too?
Oh, he was with me.
He was with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what time it was that you went to the, so Garcia was with you when you went to the hood? To get the gun?
No.
Okay. Which car did you use to go to the hood?
My car.
What kind of car is that?
I had an old Mercedes.
An old Mercedes?
I want everybody in the chat to recognize that Kim Casimiri is single-handedly holding up the Metrix economy right now. You know, and it's not even economy anymore. We've upgraded to first class. We've skipped past business, and we're now sitting in first class with a personal chef, a full wine list. You know, we couldn't thank you enough, Kim. Really, too kind, too kind.
Yeah.
Okay. So you drive your own car to the hood. At this time, you already knew you needed the gun to commit whatever crime you thought that you were going to do, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you chose, and Garcia's right there with the rental car, right? Right?
When I bought the gun?
Right.
When
I
I bought the gun, he was with it. Come on, come back. Come
Okay.
back with me, man.
After Garcia told you he had a job to do, how long after that did you go get the gun? Immediately?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I think I told you that already.
Well, I'm just trying to create a timeline.
Yeah, but you going back and forth trying to confuse me. We're not gonna do that. Just come on.
I'm not trying to confuse. I'm trying to ask a very simple question. He tells you you have a job, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You assume this is a violent job, right? That's going to require you to get a firearm, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you go from where you live. Are you living with Jessica at the time, or are you on your Miami Beach house?
I live with Jessica.
Okay. So you go. It's 135th Street.
Yes, sir.
So where'd you go? The Pork and Beans. Which hood did you go to?
It's right around the corners. I live in the hood, man.
Okay. So you go down the street in your car, right?
Yes, sir.
And you buy a firearm.
Yes, sir.
And then you come back and get in the car with Garcia, and then you go buy bullets?
Now you confused me right there, though. I think I'm with our.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. And yeah. You see, Kim's been holding us up all the way through this live, but now Laura's chipped in. Hey, Laura, thanks so much. That's really appreciated. And justice for the Markells. Thanks for the live Metrix. You're most welcome. Everybody is welcome. And yeah. We might have to shut it down early. We're 5% now, guys. We got any more juice on this thing? Let me see. No, nothing. No juice. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should bow out now. What a bummer. I really wanted to wrap this testimony up tonight, but
See you in the car. I can't remember. I
Okay.
can't remember.
Okay, now you can. Okay. So after you get the bullets, do you guys head up north?
We got the bullets next day, man.
Thank you, Riding. God, I feel like this show's just been me thanking people for their donations, especially Kim and Riding and Laura. Thank you so much, guys. Really good of you to support the show. And yes, we're going to be having a very busy week coming up. I've heard mixed ideas about whether jury selection will be televised. But even if it is, if that's true, I don't know if it's going to be that interesting. But opening statements. We are looking hot for possibly Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. That is going to be refreshing. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't know how many times I've watched all three of the opening statements so far in this case already with all the trials. But this Thursday or Friday, we're going to get a brand new one from a slightly different perspective. And that's the thing I love about how many different defendants there have been, how many different trials there have been, because with each time, the story is told from a slightly different perspective, a slightly different angle, right? Certainly from the state's case, because and through that slightly different angle, we get a much more global image of the case. We look at it from another place and we see a new case, and it's fantastic. Is this unprecedented? I can't think of a single other case that's had so many different angles, so many different ways to look at it, all from the same wonderful Class A prosecution team. Okay, Sarah Dugan only came on from 2022, but Georgia Kappelman has been here throughout. Oh, thanks again, Kim. Kim, listen, I think you're close to $100 now, or just over. Enough. Chipper and Stripper need their nuts, okay? I want your next donation. Keep it and get a 3-pound bag of imported pistachios for Chipper and Stripper.
Okay.
Let me refresh my memory. You going back and forth.
No,
on
listen,
me.
take your time. Take your time.
We got nothing but time. Got 19 years.
Got nothing but time. Got nothing but time. Yeah, but hey, Lewis, I mean, I don't know about those other charges you've got going on, the racketeering and the drugs. But if it's just this, if you got no more time coming, you're out in less than 10 years, buddy. And did I hear it right somewhere along the line that part of his deal is that he comes out with a, what do you call it, expunged, clean record? I mean, he'll be out by the time he's 50, 51. I mean, especially if he's got a clean record as well. That is enough time left in life to do something, right? I think a lot of people don't even start living until they're 50. They're all fucked up in bullshit relationships or bogged down with kids. All of those things are great too, of course, but a lot of people don't even start living until they're 50. Luis Rivera is going to get out and be able to start a whole new life. And, it's hard not to feel some kind of supportive sentiment to that. I'm sure we all see him as, hey, man, you shouldn't have been involved with that bad thing that happened. And Professor Markel was a really good guy, Luis. And you were part of his murder, Luis. Very bad, Luis. But also, he has been instrumental in the justice for Dan Markel, right? And yes, okay, it was to save his own ass. But, even so, he comes across as one of the most likable, actually, I'd say the most likable key players in this whole story. Catherine McBanower didn't come across as likable. Charlie Adelson certainly didn't. Wendy Adelson certainly doesn't. I don't imagine Donna Adelson will either, right? Sigfredo, we didn't hear from. Who else is there? Shadrick Nobles was pretty likable too, but he wasn't a key player. Anyway, guys, there's probably not even a point to 4%. Okay, should we just keep going until the computer turns off? I guess so.
Can't take that long.
That's the thing. Ask a question.
You got a citation on June 4th in the morning, right? The prosecution showed you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get the gun on June 3rd or June 2nd?
I already had the gun going up there.
That wasn't my question, sir. My question is,
Oh, and just a quick thank you to Dog Mama Laura, Amanda, and DB's registered nurse number 3, who just bought us a bunch of coffees on buymeacoffee.com. Fantastic way to support the channel, guys. And we thank you so much. Really good. Hey, good night today. Good night tonight. In no short part because of our number 1 contributor this evening, Kimba.
after Mr. Garcia allegedly told you about this purported job, you said that you went to get a gun, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did he tell you about this job the night of or the day before you left going north?
No, the same night he told me about it.
Okay, the same night. So you went down the corner, got the gun, and then got your bullets, and then headed up north, right?
Yes, sir.
You testified originally on direct examination that he drove, right?
Yes, sir.
And then the prosecutor showed you a ticket, and then you said, well, we had to switch out, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it your testimony? Well, let me ask you this. Were you and Garcia drinking on your way up north?
Every time?
Every time, okay?
And snorting coke.
Okay, well, that's what I'm getting to. And you and Garcia were drinking and driving, right?
Yes, sir.
Snorting cocaine.
Yes, sir.
Who was snorting more coke, you or Sigfredo?
Sigfredo.
I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia, I apologize, sir. Mr. Garcia, who was doing more coke, you or him?
Him.
Okay, like a little bit or a lot more?
Just a lot, not a little bit more.
A little bit more. How much cocaine did you and Mr. Garcia go through from Miami to Gainesville?
Can't remember.
And a gram?
I can't remember.
2 grams?
I can't remember, sir.
How much did you take up there?
I don't remember.
About an 8-ball sound right?
Maybe a little bit more, probably.
Okay. So a little bit more than an 8-ball is how many grams?
3.5.
So 3.5 is 1 8-ball, so you took a little bit more. So let's say, would about 5 grams sound about right?
Probably.
So it's your testimony that as an experienced gang member, you get in a rental car.
Sounds like we're about to repeat what's been said. Just saying that. We're not gonna keep repeating everything twice. Let's move on, please.
Okay. In the car that you were driving, you had been drinking alcohol. There were little alcohol bottles.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you got pulled over by the police, you were driving, right? Obviously, you got the ticket, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you check to see if you had any remnants of cocaine powder on your nose?
Not at all.
What about Mr. Garcia? Did you look to see if he had any remnants of cocaine on his nose?
No.
And in the car are 2 firearms?
Yes, sir.
I don't remember what number exhibit this is. I was going to introduce it, but you introduced it before me.
Ticket?
Yes. No problem. The government introduced this in evidence. I don't recall what.
Whoa,
Um,
Leslie, how you doing? What a big one. Super sticker. I mean, a super duper humongo sticker. Thank you so much, Leslie. $50. Wow, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, yeah. What can I say? I can just say thank you, and I really appreciate it, Leslie. I mean, super nice of you. Super nice of you. Thank you so much.
exhibit number is Mr. Rivera.
81.
Government's Exhibit 81, which is going to be popping up on the screen, is a copy of the citation. There you go.
Mr. Sanguinet's cross examination has not gone well. I can't remember who does the cross for Catherine McBanower this year. I think it's Tara Kawas, and she gets a little heated. And when I first saw this trial, I kind of liked her style. I fell into that trap of going, hey, look, she's got this fantastic Jamaican accent, and like, Miss Dugan, them want you to see that. Miss Dugan wants you looking the other way. It's like the allure of this accent that I can't do. I can only do Tara Kawas's accent if it's a direct quote, and I can practice, which I do. Anytime I'm walking the dog down the beach, I'm practicing Tara Kawas's accent. But only with a direct quote. Yeah. No, I mean, but it's a lot better than this. This cross-examination has done. This is the main key witness that Mr. Hand Grenade needs to bring down in front of the jury. Cast aspersions. Credit to Fancy Fiction. And he just didn't, did he? At all.
Your name is Luis Rivera, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The location on your driver's? I think this will be better. Sorry, Judge. The location.
Yes, Donna Bowen. Leslie's going to the trial. She's going to be our eyes and ears, folks. Eyes and ears. Looking so forward to hearing what you say, Leslie. Yeah. I'm not even going to say what's been discussed. You never know who's listening. But yeah, can't wait to hear from you, Leslie.
Location on your driver's license as your address is 1805 Normandy Drive, apartment 3. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's in Miami Beach, Florida. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How long had you lived in Miami Beach?
My whole life.
You were born April 25th, 1983.
Yes, sir.
You're a Hispanic male and you're 5'4".
Yes, sir.
And the citation is going 90 miles an hour.
Okay. We got to end. Unfortunately, guys, we were rolling on this, but I've got 2% battery, so there's probably just enough to sign off and say goodbye. We will be picking it up tomorrow for the last, there's only about 8 minutes left of this one video, but we're going to finish this off. And we'll be moving on to the cross-examination on behalf of Catherine McBanower. And we'll probably fit in George's redirect as well, which will seal off 2019. tomorrow, guys. Luis Rivera's testimony, which means that it's going to be tight, isn't it? Yeah, that's going to bring us right up to jury selection. Maybe we'll do some daytime streams tomorrow. Try and get through this Luis Rivera mumbo jumbo. Yeah, but anybody, I got to sign off right now, but I'm going to head over to Discord to see what's going on there on my telephone. So we'll be there. If anyone needs the link to Discord, if you haven't already joined, link is in the description. It's free. And yeah, there's just always chats going on Discord with this community about the Dan Markel case, about other cases that we follow. Got to get back onto Sarah Boone soon, huh? Soon got to get to Boone. Well, thank you so much all for the wonderful comments tonight, guys. The support from all of you guys, from Leslie, from Kim, Jesus Christ, Kim, from Laura, and also the people on Coffee, and who else didn't I mention? Oh, there was another. I'm so sorry, I can't remember. But thank you everybody who supports the channel, and we'll sign off. And until tomorrow, guys, we will say, be kind to each other, don't be an Adelson, and have a safe drive home. True Crime Metrix out.